is Charbel Abou Khalil. I am an environmental engineer, and now I'm going to discuss my research project mainly, which is named Treatability and Energy Potential of Waste in Anaerobic Sequential Systems. So this project has won in the Lebanese Industrial Research Achievement Program, and I am very glad that it was accepted and chosen by Berytech for incubation and potentially having a successful startup. So 15 minutes ago, we were discussing energy, now and mainly technology. So now we're discussing waste, which is the talk of the country, and everybody's sick of it. But bear with me. Does anybody have, just before I start, any idea about waste management? Okay. So you work in the field or just, okay. So let me go through it a little bit. So since summer 2015, we had a problem with Lebanon, the Ne'ameh landfill closure. And everybody said we need to get rid of the waste. How can we get rid of it? Actually, we don't, this is not the right keyword. We don't get rid of the waste. It has high value. Even if we don't see it, it's not gold, but has some value. And if you go to your houses, I'm just kidding, but if you go just search in your garbage, what do you see? Mainly these items. Plastics, you see cardboard, you see metals. These are usually what is found in waste now. These percentages are not everywhere. These are only for Lebanon. And the main problem here in Lebanon, we have a huge amount of organics, 60%. This is from the Ministry of Environment. Actually, we went through several urban and rural areas, and we found almost the same percentages, especially when it comes for organics. We throw lots of food waste, unlike the USA, unlike the European countries, which have let's say 11 to 20% max. So we have 60. For these items, which we call recyclables, actually these are the items which have some value, which can be resold. Let's take an example. Do you know that if you take a Pepsi can, which is, if you drink the Pepsi, do you know that the can is much worth than the Pepsi? Why? Does anybody know? Because in order to have this can, first of all, you need to excavate, extract the primary resources, which is aluminum, then runs through several processes. So we have energy consumption. Also, we have several manufacturing processes which lead to a huge amount of greenhouse gas emissions. And also, it leads to energy use and the cost. Mainly, we are losing money in these processes. Several things. I'm not familiar with how the recycling goes, but as for paper, for metals, it's the same thing. So, and in Lebanon, we have markets for these, actually. There are people who buy them. If you go, like Cedar Environment and many other places which you sell the recyclables, we have markets who buy them. Unfortunately, I think most of them were being open dumped and landfilled. Now, my main project is for the organics. What to do with the organics? It's like if you think of food waste, it's a problem. If we eat a banana and we leave the banana peel, what's going to happen? It's not like plastic. Plastic needs 60 years to 100 to degrade. The banana peel 2 days. And that's main. I'm going to go through it right now, what to do with food waste. So first of all, let's discuss the options present till now. We have landfilling, and I'm talking worldwide. And it seems that landfilling is turning out to be disadvantage. Engineering and wise, or environmentally wise, it has several drawbacks. And I'm not going to go through why it has several drawbacks. It's a long discussion, but you should know that most of the developing and developed countries are shifting away from landfills. You know what's landfilling, right? Like Ne'ameh. They are deviating the waste from landfills. It's actually, there are actually more than 1,000 conferences held annually with the subject, how to deviate waste from landfills. They don't want it to go under the ground anymore. Another thing which can be done is mainly what we call, what is named anaerobic digestion. Is anybody familiar with the term? It is very simple. It's just, if like I said, you put the banana peel here, it's gonna degrade by bacteria and archaea and microbes and so on. They're gonna lay eggs in it, consume it, whatever. It will generate gases. This is aerobic conditions in the presence of oxygen. It will generate mainly CO2. In anaerobic conditions where we don't have oxygen, like I said, anaerobic, which is there's no oxygen at all, 0%, it's gonna generate methane, CH4. Now, why don't we use this? Methane is very valuable, but we don't use it for food waste because right now, till now, and if you read all the journals, we don't have anaerobic digestion for food waste alone. It doesn't work. It needs another type of waste, which we call another type of solid waste, manure. Maybe it could be wastewater sludge, anything, because biologically, the microbes will die with only the presence of food waste. And we have a case in Lebanon, in Saida, we have an anaerobic digester, and I believe now it is failing, actually. Now we investigated it, and it's not good. And it's treating only food waste, because that's the main reason. Another disadvantage is the leachate, what we call digestate, that at the end process, the liquid that comes out, it needs further treatment, which is very expensive. It's smelly, it releases ammonia and several types of gases, so it needs more money to be invested, so it's tricky, anaerobic digestion. So if we take Beirut, for instance, and say we want to place an anaerobic digester, so like I said, the main theme is, okay, you have 100 tons per day of food waste, we need 100 tons of manure or something else. Well, where are they going to get it? So that's the main issue. This is ideal, which is, we call it composting. Of course, yeah, simply aerobic, like I said about the banana, it's the process of oxygen. It generates at the end compost, which can be used for fertilization. But it mainly requires energy or land or both, depending on what engineering system we are using. Why? If we have 50 pounds per day and we have to put it on a land in order to have aeration piles or windrows, like let's say, so don't we need a huge land? That's the main issue. It can be done in European, but in urban areas, it's kind of tricky. And for energy, if we reduce it, it needs reduce the volume that is required. It needs lots of energy for aeration because the bacteria itself or the microbes in general require a huge amount of oxygen. And aeration requires a large volume of, or actually megawatt hours, or what you call them, energy-wise. So finally, the main idea, first of all, was my idea mainly combining food waste with wastewater or food waste alone. It can be either or. Okay, almost finished. Or food waste alone through combining both systems, anaerobic and anaerobic, which is composting. So it's as simple as it is. It's like mixing the food waste with water or wastewater, pumping it to the anaerobic digester, then to an aerobic reactor. Now, if you can see here the steps, here we don't have innovation. But because they are already found in the industry. The main innovation is that we played in the microbiological system in each part. In order for the anaerobic digester to accept food waste and to generate a huge amount of methane, in order for the aerobic reactor to consume less energy. And at the end, we ended up with a huge amount of methane and a liquid which can be used for fertilization, which has no odors, no ammonia. It's very safe. And if you look, this is what we're entering, a viscous solid, which is liquid or food waste when it's mixed. And this is the output. Now, this liquid differs huge from this liquid. Actually, it has 99% less solids. Less solids. Solids.
Solids.
So where did they go? They actually mainly went degraded to methane. And the remaining 1% is compost. Let's take like an exercise, Lebanon's case. Now, we have, this is from 2010. The municipal solid waste generation was 4,300 tons per day. And I think now it's much larger, 7 years after. For food waste is around 55%, which is 2,580 tons per day. The methane that is generated on average achieved by my numbers is 412,800 meter cube per day. And the energy expected from this amount is just simple equation. Each 1 meter cube provide a constant of megawatt hour. It's 4,310 megawatt hour. The system needs, now if we convert this to electricity, it's gonna lose 70%. We have what we call losses. And we need 5% for the system to run. We done an economic feasibility, and it needs 5% from the generated methane for mixing, heating, and so on. So we are generating at the end a net profit of 1,380 megawatt hour and 65 tons per day of fertilizers. Now, this is the main idea for Lebanon. Actually, some people are requesting this, but unfortunately it's abroad. In Saudi Arabia, although they have lots of gas and biogas and so on, they want it, and in Algeria, but in Lebanon, they don't like the idea much. Probably you know why. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you so much.